Okay. Was a bit close right there. Had some technical difficulties. I couldn't quite get my microphone to work, but after some gentle coaxing, a bit of playing around, some violent thrusting of fingers into buttons, threatening, lots of threatening, shaking, some swearing, my dog got scared and ran off, I got it to work. So if any time you're having trouble with high-tech, expensive equipment and you don't know what to do, just treat it like a little kid, and yell, just scream at it and poke, and eventually it'll come back to life and it will work. Alright, so I'm back. All you remaining subscribers, you can stop holding your breath because I am here. All 4 of you. Well, 3 of you. 1 left because apparently I was taking too long. And that's a weird thing to do. Why unsubscribe to somebody if they're just not on YouTube? Like, I've disappeared. I was not doing anything on YouTube. And somebody's like, okay, I'll show him. You know, I'm going to unsubscribe. What if I was dead? I'm overweight. I could die I could die with somebody walking behind me and saying, hey, are you okay? Because I'm panting because I had to come uphill. I could have been dead. And then you're like, oh, screw him. I'm going to show him by unsubscribing. So yeah, I lost 1/4 of my subscribers since I left. So why did I leave? As you know, in case any of you were around and watching, I was doing One Piece reviews, and my idea was I'm going to start from the beginning and just keep going till I reach the end, which was going to take years because of the way old. Anybody else amazed at how that is? Like, we know so much about One Piece, but we don't know shit about One Piece. Like, Oda's been writing for 20 years, and we don't know a goddamn thing. We don't know what D is. We don't know what Awakening is. We don't know what the hell those people from Nico Robin's village learned that was so dangerous. Or anyways, so we don't know anything. And okay, the point is, I was doing reviews, and I wasn't doing them as fast as I would have liked to be able to do them because I was getting really into the series. So what ended up happening is I thought, okay, you know what, I won't review as much, and I just want to start reading and just enjoy it instead of thinking of what I'm going to say while I'm reading. I'm just going to read it and just enjoy it. And I did 1 chapter, and then I read another chapter, and then I read another chapter, and so forth and so forth. And I'm like, okay, I'll start the reviews tomorrow or the next day and the next day and the next day. Before you knew it, I caught up to the whole Cake Island and all that. I caught up. And it took me a month. No, you know what? It didn't even take me a month. By the definition of month, I did not take that long. It took me 24 days. 24 days does not equal a month. The minimum for a month is February. That's the smallest you can be for a month. Leap year or regular year, it's February. And it didn't take me that long. I just blazed through it. And at first I'm like, okay, this is great. I finished a 800-page manga in less than a month. And it was great for a while until I realized that I'm finished. I'm caught up. Well, okay, I'm not finished. I'm caught up. So, like everybody else, I have to wait and wait and wait and wait and wait and wait. And this is why I don't read comics. Well, that and because I'm poor. Like I look at how I'm dressed. Look at my curtains. I'm poor. I don't make money. So that's why I don't read comics. But I don't read manga because I don't like waiting. And so I had to wait. I'm waiting now. Every week I'm like poop face, just poop face. And yeah, I never came back because it felt weird to come back and start doing the reviews again, despite the, because I know what's going to happen. And what I was doing with the reviews is like trying to guess what's going to happen, and the whole idea was fresh perspective and being surprised and all that. But I finished them. So what was I going to do? Like I couldn't bring myself to come back and do anything on here. And that went for a while. So what made me come back? Well, the videos are on the internet. YouTube videos are on the internet. That means anybody can see them. That means they're there to be seen. And when I started doing YouTube, I had a Twitter, and I would put on YouTube, on Twitter, hey, I came up with a new video. And I forgot all about them. Like it's literally been months since I've been on this YouTube account. And I forgot about it. And then this guy's like, hey, you make YouTube videos. And I'm like, yeah, I do make YouTube videos. It took me a few minutes because I'm staring at him and thinking, did I? That sounds familiar. That doesn't sound like something I would do, but I think I did it. And apparently I did it. And he watched some, which scared the hell out of me. You think I'm red now? I could feel the blood about to burst out of my cheeks. Like literally, there was so much pressure in my head, it hurt. Like, when your palms are itchy? That's how my face felt. I just wanted to just scratch. And I'm like, oh, yeah, I did. And he's like, yeah, I watched a few. Oh, you did, huh? He's like, yeah, they were about that book review. Yes, they were. And so, I talked to him for a bit, and he said, yeah, I'm gonna watch some more and see. I'll let you know how I feel about them. Okay, great. So that happened, and I was freaking out, and I freaked out for like 2 days. I don't know why I freaked out for 2 days. I don't even like anybody at where I work, so if they find out and they laugh, it's like, well, I wasn't going to talk to you anyway. So I don't know why I freaked out. I just freaked out. I stressed, and I played video games angrily, so I didn't get very far. And I'm freaking out, and I'm sweating buckets, and I'm dehydrated, so I have to drink more water. And yeah, so but what ended up happening is when you hit that point where you're just so stressed you don't care. Like you're like, well, my house is on fire. There's an earthquake outside. There's a flood of water coming down. I can't do anything, so I'm just not gonna panic. The last thing I want to do is panic, so I'm just gonna let it happen. And I was gonna let it go. Fine, I was fine with letting it go. It was done. And then I decided, you know what? I'm just gonna watch one. So I watched one, and I thought, oh my gosh, that is horrible. I look terrible. I'm all stiff, and I was still fat. So I'm like, okay, I'll watch two. I wasn't a fan. And I think the issue here is I have a lot of self-loathing. Like, I don't like myself. I'm not a fan. Okay, I'm not. I talk to myself, and I'm listening to myself. I'm like, why don't you shut up? You know what? You just shut up. You have this voice that just nobody enjoys. Don't talk. And so yeah, I mean, I don't even like to take a shower unless it's hot and steamy and foggy and I can't see the window. Like, I don't even like hot showers. I like cold showers. They feel clean. And yes, I know they're not clean. I know that the cold doesn't get the grime off and all that. I know that. I still take hot showers. I just like cold showers more. So again, unless the window is foggy, I'm not getting out. Because if that window breaks, I have 7 years bad luck. And I already have bad luck as it is. I don't need any more bad luck. So, I watched them, wasn't happy, but was too tired of being worried to actually care any further. So, it was done. And then my dog got hurt. Well, he didn't get hurt. He got infected. Technically, he got hurt, but, the injury itself was minuscule and minute, and you could just forget about it. So what happened was I had these shoes. They're green tennis shoes. They were cheap, I think like $10. And I walk my dogs in them because they're light, and in case I have to run, they're light. They don't have very good support, but they're light. And so during, there was a time where it wasn't a problem. It was easy to do because they're light, and it wasn't. And if it rains, they're cheap shoes that are Holy, and that's fine. But here's the thing about Holy. Holy doesn't protect you. Nothing Holy will ever protect you. Not cheese, not Jesus, not a door filled with bullet holes. They don't offer protection. And I found myself being constantly reminded about that as I think the spring or whatever season came when plants released those little stickers. And I constantly found myself stepping on said sticker. And for the most part, my shoes, as holy as they were, it wasn't an issue because there was still more surface shoe than hole. But occasionally I would step into one of those, and those things hurt. They hurt. They all penetration hurts. Whatever. If something's going in a hole it's supposed to go in or not, except for the mouth, it's going to hurt. Even when it's coming out a hole that's designed for it to come out of, it hurts. So I had enough of that. I had enough. I couldn't take it anymore. I couldn't. So I went in my work shoes, which have a much better heel. They're thicker, and that's good too because I don't step on stickers. Nobody likes stickers, and I had joined the elite group of people who did not feel a sticker half the time their foot came down outside while walking their dog, and this was good for a while. But my dog, I'm not in charge of my dog. He knows it. I know it. None of my dogs see me as the alpha. They see me as a brother in arms. They see me as a loved one, but I'm not in charge. So when we're walking, they go anyway. And usually I'm on top of the game, and I can stop or move them or adjust. And I found myself walking them, and I was looking at a Halloween. Not a Halloween. Halloween decoration that, it was there for a while. It was still a few days off, and they didn't take it down. And I'm like, that's interesting. And while I'm looking at that, my dog JD, yes, after the alcohol, is looking at a cat. So, my foot came down and it hit him right here on the paw, and I guess it hurt because he yelped, but I looked and it didn't look like he was seriously injured, and after that he was able to walk, so I just forgot about it. I said, okay, he's fine. I don't have to kiss a boo-boo because he doesn't like me touching his paw anyways. So fine, forgot about it. Few days, and as the days go by, I noticed that the little area, it starts to widen and widen, and one day I'm like, I know where this is going because I keep seeing this happening. There's not been 1 year where I haven't had to take one dog to the vet because a bug bites him and he keeps chewing on it, or he gets scratched and he keeps chewing. Mostly it's a bug, actually. It's not anything else. It's a bug. And it amazes me because even if it's on their butt, they're still going to chew it. I've gone 29 years without biting my ass. I don't know why they can't go a few days. But yeah. So I see it. And I know, okay, I could probably fix this before it gets too bad. So I just need to find one of the medical cones, the cone of shame, satellite dish. Yeah. So I look, and I have to have at least 4 or 5 of them in this house. There has to be. I know that because, again, every year they need one. Can't find it. It's getting to the point where what I'm going to start doing is I'm going to start super gluing those damn things to the wall. And I'm going to have like in a glass case that says in case of emergency. And I'm going to have that stuff, nail polish remover that you use to get rid of it. So in case I see one of those things, appear and it's going to get infected, I just smash it, take the thing out, unglue the cone, and just latch it on. Long story short, it got infected. Not fever infected, not okay, it's so swollen they're going to have to cut it off. Infected, but infected to the point where it's like, okay, it's a little pink, you gotta take them. So I took them. Well, I took them. I got lucky too because I called the vet, and this girl with a voice, I don't know if she was taking helium, but it was so high pitched. I feel bad because I had to ask her to repeat herself like 2 or 3 times. And she's like, yeah, you could take them, in a few hours. So I took them. And I went inside, and she said hi, and I'm like, she's cute. Like she was cute to the point where it did not matter how high pitched her voice was. She could be that girl from Will and Grace, the short, busty one. She could have a voice that high pitched, and it'd be like fine. I really couldn't care less. I'm just gonna tune out your voice. And I started talking to her, and she was real nice. I even said a couple of jokes, but I wasn't even paying attention because it was autopilot because I was worrying about my dog losing a paw. I know that wasn't going to happen, but every time you take a dog because he has some kind of bite or a bump, you're afraid, okay, it's going to be tumor or cancer. And it's not paranoia. One of my dogs did have cancer on the penis out of all places, so they had to, remove it. And now I constantly find myself having to check his penis. It's awkward for everybody, so it balances out. So anyways, I'm talking to this nurse, or vet, or technician, or assistant, or counter lady. And she's laughing, she's nice, and we got to the point where she's like, yeah, can you put your dog on the scale? And I said, yes. Not easily, or without cursing, but I could. And so I could feel her looking at me, and I said, why is it that no dog... Have you noticed that no dog likes this thing? What is it about it? Is it the texture? Or and I talked a bit, and she's like, yeah, that's a good question. Children, too, don't like it. And then it clicked. Something clicked. Because I was a fat kid. I am a fat kid. I'm still a child at heart. I got video games, and I don't collect action figures, so I'm not that bad. But I was a fat kid. And when you're a fat kid, you're constantly reminded you're a fat kid and told about how maybe you don't need that second bar of candy, or maybe you should put that soda away. And so I suddenly understood, and I told her, they know they're being judged. That's why they don't want to get under, because they know once they get under, there's going to be a talk, and when somebody talks to them, it means that they're going to say, you don't get as many treats. That's why they don't want to get on. And she laughed, and I laughed, and JD got on the scale. And while JD was on the scale, and we were laughing, I suddenly noticed there was a third body there. And I look, and there's this other nurse, or vet, or technician, or whatever. She was in a scrub. And she's laughing too, and I suddenly realized I have an audience. I'm in the spotlight. I could feel myself turn red. Oh my gosh, I felt like a tomato with fuzz. Like a rotten tomato, but, black fuzz instead of, white. And I just went silent. And I guess they felt the uncomfort too, because they went silent. And we're just three of us are looking at each other, and it's 2 against 1. So, like, if I say something that it messes up and they decide, okay, we're going to kill him, it's 2 against 1. One can attack from one, and then the other one can get him from behind. And the human body dies easily. Like a stab 2 inches in, that's fatal. That's what the Romans were taught. And so I guess JD, being a dog and having the dog senses and the abilities, and evolved with human beings so they can detect what's wrong, he looks at me, and then he smiles. Well, he doesn't smile, but you know how a dog does it. And he looks at me, and he walks up to the counter, and then he pisses, and it's the world's longest piss. I don't know how he was what he drank so much, but he went for a good 20 seconds just pissing. And the lady's like, oh, did he pee? And I can talk, I can think. I'm thinking while this is going on. I thought, well, don't you hear the rain? Do you smell it? Do you see his paw raised up ever so slightly? Yes, he's peeing. I didn't say that. I just went, yeah, yep, peeing. He's peeing. He peed. And she's like, oh, okay, that's no worry. And then my dog turns around, and I think, okay, he's going to come and, he's done. No, he turns around and he pees right over again. I guess because he's so used to Lemmy being around, and they have pissing contests all the time. One will pee on something, the other will pee on something, they'll pee again. I had to put it to a stop every time, because it will literally go on for like 5-6 minutes with them just peeing over each other's piss. And so I'm so... And so he's done. There's literally no way there's any more fluids left in his body. It's a puddle at this point. And he looks at me, and he comes and he sits down right beside me. He looks up, and this was a smile. And I know what he was trying to do. He was thinking, okay, he's floundering. He's a fish in air, and he's dying because fish don't do well in air. And so he decided, I'm going to save him. And his way of saving him was to break the ice. He wanted to break the ice so I could make a joke about piss. I could not make a joke about piss because he didn't break the ice. There was no ice at this point anymore. He just disintegrated it. He melted it. It was like a Predator laser cannon just shot down, and somehow it missed me, but it completely melted and disintegrated and evaporated the ice that I was standing on. And I just went down and I drowned. Like, this is a zombie talking to you. I died that day. I was dead. I died. But on the good news is JD lost weight. He went from 73 pounds to 62. So that was a relief. For the most part. And when I say for the most part, I mean for the most part. Like, he's healthy now, and that's what matters. He's in a much healthier place. You know, it's less stress on his joints. It's easier on his lungs. Great. But then it came the time to take him to the back and lift him up. And so, you know, when you're going to lift something and you're already know how much it weighs. And it's been a while since I lifted him, because it's been a while since I've been to the vet. And when I lifted him, like, we shot up, and I'm like, oh, and, you know, I'm like, oh, sorry. And he's just looking at me like, holy fuck, are you trying to, he thought I was going to throw him over, like an overhit. No. I'm like, calm down, you know, that was a mistake. And I put him down on the counter, and they look at him, and they're like, yeah, it's infected. And I'm like, yeah, I know. The ideal in this whole thing, I felt like telling them, was, you know, if you just let me buy the antibiotics, we wouldn't have a problem. But no, you couldn't do that. And so that was how I spent my $75 in one day, which I know is not a lot, but when you're poor, that's a lot. It's all relative. Money is all relative. And so, yeah. So the question is, what does this have to do with coming back? If I'm back. Am I back? I don't know. I want to be back. I want to be here. I don't want to leave again so quickly. But what does this have to do with anything? Well, I froze. And I always freeze. I'm used to freezing. But, okay, it's all jumbling around. So you got to remember that this isn't all happening, you know, with one thing. It's all jumbling around. The point is, I got lucky that it was two cute girls who were laughing at me when I was telling jokes, and then I froze, and they just kind of got awkward. What if it was a serial killer, and the only way I could get out of it was to talk to him? If I freeze, he could do what he does best, or what he does worse, but it's the only kind of living he can make. So, you know, the point is, here I know I'm going to be watched. Even if it's like 5, 10 people who just look and go, this is boring, and stop. I know I'm going to be watched. So I get nervous, and it's the same. It has similar effects instead of just talking to one-on-one. So that's the whole reason why I'm kind of here, because I don't want to freeze anymore. I don't want to die like a deer in a headlight, you know, while the guy's slowing down and honking like, get out of the way, you know. I don't want everything to just shut off, or to more appropriately power down while everything in here's going on haywire, and there's sparks and smokes coming out of my ears. And yeah, that's the whole reason. So yeah, until I make another video, and hopefully it'll be One Piece related, because I do love One Piece, even though I'm so far behind. Well, no, I'm not behind. I'm caught up. Unless do the movies count? Because I haven't seen any of the movies. Are any of the movies worth watching? I mean, other than Z, because I like Z. Maybe I should watch. Okay, anyways, I'm gonna start rambling if I don't stop now. So, okay, have a good one. Talk to you guys later.